Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Hello, we're back. For those of you who have watched the show before, obviously Nervous Chat was a show I used to do weekly. And then I stopped because I basically just burnt out. So I took a good long look and thought, I miss doing it, but I can't go back to weekly. So we're just going to be doing ad hoc shows now, as and when guests come up that basically I want to talk to. So thank you everyone who is watching. Those of you who are watching live, of course, thank you so much for joining. And of course, if you're watching this as a recording afterwards, thank you so much for watching. Anyway, enough from me, because I can talk for hours. And let's get on with the chat show, shall we? So tonight's guest, I mean, how can I introduce them? You will all know who this is. They are probably famous for a purple piece of clothing, and for their absolutely brilliant Planet Coaster recreations of all sorts of roller coasters. I've only recently met them in person, having spoken to them for a little while online, and had been picking his brains constantly about Planet Coaster now that I've started playing. So without further ado, let's bring him in. It's Digital Dan.
Hello.
Good evening, Dan.
How's it going? You're good?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I probably joined a bit too late beforehand because I was coming back from somewhere and the traffic was manic. So I was just like trying to get back. I was like, so if I look a bit red, that's why. But, hello.
No, that's absolutely fine, because I had the same problem getting home tonight. I was going to cycle home, and then it started chucking it down. So I was like, I'm getting the bus. I'm not cycling in this weather. And then, of course, the buses were all late. So, yeah, I ran into the house and was
British
like,
buses,
right.
am I right?
Oh, they're great, aren't they? Absolutely great. So I'm just going to quickly spin through who's in the live chat tonight. So we've got a few people in. Thank you so much, all those of you that have joined. I wasn't expecting such a big reception on our first episode back. So thank you so much. I will try and get through as many of you as I can. So Dan, I think we should crack up. We should get this show started with opening weekends, shouldn't we?
Oh God, there's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in both, to be fair.
I think there is quite a bit, isn't there, for us to sort of chew over with opening weekends. I mean, you've attended obviously more than I have. I did Legoland and I did Thorpe Park.
I like the raised eyebrows. Yeah. It was such a good day.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to. Do you know what? I know it's cliched. It's terribly cliched, but the people made it, didn't they? Because let's face it,
100%.
Because the rides couldn't.
Yeah, there was a lot of ride closures, but I'm sure we'll get into how manic that day was.
Oh yeah. So obviously you started off. You went to Blackpool, didn't you? Which was probably
no. I actually didn't this time around.
Did you not go to Blackpool? Oh
no. So we were sat there. We were like, do we want to go to Blackpool and spend all this money and knowing we're going to have a bad weekend, or do we not? Purely because obviously Blackpool in general, it's a good weekend. It's good to see everyone, but we just knew that everything wouldn't be ready. So a load of me and my mates originally did plan to go, and then we heard like the big one wasn't going to be open and all that stuff. So we just decided not to. Luckily, it was the right call because it seemed like one hell of a weekend. But yeah, decided to miss that one out for the first time in a while, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah, I think it was a tale of 2 days as well, wasn't it? From what I hear, the Saturday was atrociously bad, and it rained, which just makes everyone a bit more depressed.
Classic British weather.
Yeah, and then the Sunday the sun shined, and actually ride availability was much better.
Still no big one.
Still no big one. No. It always amazes me that they built that coaster right on the seafront. When a coaster that's so dependent on weather conditions.
Yep.
You built it right on a seafront. I mean,
they were going to build like a 300-foot one, so at least they didn't do that.
Geez, could you imagine?
It would be open about one day a year, I reckon.
Yes, I think it would. I think it literally would. I've just put a little thing here. Bring back Carnival. # Bring back Carnival.
Oh yeah, that's gone, isn't it? Yeah, I forgot about
that. Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed about that. I've got to be honest. Look, even got my Carnival t-shirt in support. Bring back Carnival.
It was a good event, to be fair.
I've got to be honest and say I've actually thought it was probably almost on a par with Fright Nights last year. But I wasn't. So I was a bit saddened to hear they were getting rid of it. But that's
it might come back in the future. Who knows?
It might do. I suspect it's possibly because of Hyperia. And
probably
they don't want to overcrowd what's already a very small park. Let's face it.
We can have a Hyperia Carnival instead. How about that? All gold and black and white.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Everyone dressed as
would be cool.
Potentially Greeks, but it could be Egyptians. We're still not actually sure. It could be anything, couldn't it? It literally could.
Black Mirror and Labyrinth could come back.
Oh God, don't wish that on anybody.
I know you're saying Carnival needs to come back, but one thing we can be glad about is that Black Mirror's gone.
There are good things and bad things that they've got rid of. And Black Mirror certainly falls into the bad things category. Because it is absolutely horrendous. I did it once and just never again. I understand why people said it was great when it rained.
Yeah, true. That's
because it was somewhere to go and hide. But
use it as a shelter, not a ride.
Yeah, basically that seemed to be.
It was good, but it was just the sort of, I don't know, the cliche ending. I was about to say spoiler alert, but there's no spoilers because it's now gone. But I feel like there was a very cliche ending where it just sort of it stopped, and then you walked out and it was like, oh, was that it? And a lot of things were broken half the time. Cool concept though, I'll give them that. But yeah, I just don't think it worked out the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, and then wasn't it after the first year they'd had so many complaints about the strobe lighting and things inside that they toned it down.
Maybe I didn't know about that, but that probably is something.
It was either strobe lighting, or it was that the ending was people were complaining it was too scary or too intense or something, and they toned it down, and it actually it made a bad experience even worse.
Yeah.
If that was possible. But so obviously, Alton Towers then I'm assuming was your first opening weekend.
Yes. Oh my god, that was a hectic weekend.
I mean, I couldn't get up there. I would have loved to have gone, but the prospect of 4-hour queues with a family who, without me, wouldn't be able to get on any other rides, it wasn't fair. So we made the decision not to do it.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
So but how was it for you? I've heard so many mixed stories about
it. Honestly, it was it was an insane day. Like, it was so good. I mean, we got to the Galactica gate. Bear in mind, so it was a bit hectic at first, not even on the day, because we were originally staying at a friend's house, and we decided at about, I think it was about 10:30 at night, that we would book the Alton Towers Hotel for the night. So that was very last minute. So then we drove there, and then we used the Galactica gate to get in. We waited there from 8:30, I think, thinking, oh, we might be on there in about, I don't know, half an hour after parks are open. We didn't get on till about 12:15. So It was about a 3-hour 45 queue, which was a lot of fun. I consider it a bonding experience between me and my friends, because it was just a lot of fun, just messing around and vlogging, I guess. But yeah, there was a lot of queues, met loads of different people. That was amazing as well. And obviously went on Nemesis, which was crazy. So good. Absolutely love it.
Now you obviously mentioned Nemesis. I did see tonight that you've released a video.
Yes, my honest thoughts.
Which, from the just from the thumbnail, I will get round to watching it later. It didn't look like you were overly impressed, shall we say, with Nemesis Reborn.
I'd say there's parts of it that, well, I mean, I guess I explained in the video, but there's parts of it that I'd say need improving, but it's like a slight amount compared to how good it is, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is genuinely like amazing.
I mean, obviously, controversially, I'm sure, I've always preferred Inferno. I have a sentimental attachment to Inferno. No, but it is probably as much about because of a sentimental attachment. Mine and my wife's first date was at Thorpe Park. First roller coaster I ever rode in my life was Nemesis Inferno.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you know, that's part of it for me. I like the way it rides. I just some of the layout I prefer. I like the fact it doesn't come straight out onto the lift hill. I like that swoop round, you know, that's
in the volcano.
In the volcano, which is great when the mist is on, which it wasn't at the weekend. But you know, it is hard to call it between the two. And at the end of the day, they are both B&M inverts. You know, and I think most people's bias towards one or the other probably stems more from sentimental connection as much as anything else.
Or Nemesis is just better.
And that's it from Dan tonight. Thank you very much for joining, Dan.
I'll leave now. Goodbye. Take care.
Dan, you've already said that Thorpe Park is your home park, right? So now you're.
Is, yeah.
I suppose you're quite sandwiched in between the two, aren't you?
Yeah. So I'm sort of like, I think I'm like 2 hours just under from Towers, and then about 45 minutes to an hour from Thorpe. So yeah, quite in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I've been to Towers. Well, I guess now it's about 9 or 10 days it's been open. But for the first 8 days of the season, I'd been 4 times.
Wow.
Because I just love Nemesis so much.
I've got to be honest and say I am excited to go and ride it. It looks insane. And I think that for me, that was Nemesis's strength against Inferno, particularly, is it was always themed better. You know, even
up that strength even more.
Absolutely, they have. So, you know, and from that perspective, I would say I prefer already Nemesis over Inferno from a theming perspective. However,
I meant in general.
Based on old Nemesis, I preferred the ride of Inferno, but that could change. I'm open to change. You know, if Nemesis can swing it for me, then I will say Nemesis is better.
I mean, it feels more intense now.
Okay.
A little bit more. Feels a little bit faster as well, but I think that might purely be because we haven't ridden it in so long. But yeah, there you go. Did Nemesis 6 times today, a lot more faster than it was on opening. Yeah. So I reckon give it a couple years and it will be flying even faster than it was before. And yeah, it's crazy. So definitely get out and ride it if you can. Anyone in the chat as well. You're not ridden it, go ride it. It's good.
Well, it seems like I'm the only person at the moment in the whole chat here tonight that actually hasn't done it yet, which I find hilarious. I was hoping to have some supporters of people that, you know, haven't done it yet, but no, I'm just closing the door there. But no, apparently not. I am the only person, it would appear. I'm loving this comment here. Thank you so much, Photo Theme Park. Dan and Darren is a video we needed. That's lovely. I've got a vlog coming out at some point this week, but I can actually find some time to edit it. And Dan, you actually are in that vlog because obviously we got to hang out a little bit at the weekend before the craziness took over, and obviously we ended up getting split up, didn't we? And just everyone was sort of going everywhere.
Everyone was everywhere. It was like, oh, let's do this ride, and then we went and did another, and then it was just like, oh god, ended up dancing by stealth. Yeah, it was quite fun. Well, I say go into different rides. Go into different rides if they were open at all.
Yes, we'll come on to that part. So obviously, while you were busy waiting for Nemesis at Alton Towers, I actually went to Legoland's opening weekend. Something I've never done before. I say it and I'll say it again, and I stand by it. Legoland is great fun if you have young children. So there's been a period of a couple of years where my older son was too old for Legoland. He's now more Chessington, and especially since Mandrill Mayhem opened, of course.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's very much about that now. And then obviously, and my youngest was too young, and he's just hit 90 centimeters. So Legoland is now a go-to again because of that. And because of him, I'm actually quite enjoying being there again. So, you know, it is a shame that the new coaster's been delayed yet again.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that a bit later, I think. But actually, it was a really good opening day. Pretty much everything was running. The only thing that went down was sadly the dragon. But I did get to see an evac, a proper evac with the harnesses and everything. So that was quite exciting.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
You know, and but unfortunately, it didn't come back afterwards. But not being a massive fan of the dragon, I wasn't too upset by that. But it was a good opening day. The queues stayed manageable. It would just, I suppose it's what you'd expect from Legoland. It's generally quite reliable.
Yeah, true.
You know, their rides are quite sturdy. They don't seem to suffer with a huge amount of downtime.
Unless they're delayed by opening for a week or two.
Unless they're delayed by openings, yes. Which, yeah, I don't think that's doing them any favors.
No,
but
it's a shame. I mean, I got invited down to Legoland, I think like 2 weeks ago now, to see what it was looking like and sort of see the trains for the first time. And it did look quite a way off of opening. Like they were still doing like tarmacking outside. The queue looks completely like not even there at the minute. So obviously since then, 2 weeks, they might have done quite a bit, but it's a lot to do till like in that sort of time period. So I'm not surprised it's been delayed, but at the same time, yeah, like Oscar's airtime said, it makes me so sad.
Yeah, yeah. I think to be honest, we're all with you because we all wanted to support Legoland on this and get behind them. You know, because obviously there's been huge amounts of hype about a certain roller coaster opening at Thorpe Park, and then of course a certain other roller coaster reopening at Alton Towers.
Yep.
And I couldn't help but feel that Legoland's new coaster sort of slipped under the radar a little bit, which is why I was trying to promote it a little bit by making videos about it and, you know, and trying to get a little bit of hype for them because I thought, you know, it is exciting, you know, and we want excitement about it. But I feel like they're letting everybody down now because we're all kind of like, oh, you know, this is, we all booked tickets to go and do it. And then
that's fair.
You know, and now we're all trying to move our tickets, and so it is unfortunately a bit disappointing. And
it's a good new fit for the park though when it does open.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's unfortunately placed, but they're placing the fastest roller coaster next to the slowest. But
the best next to the best. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a little bit of bad planning, but I appreciate it was probably space restrictions that dictated that it needed to go there as opposed to anywhere else.
I mean, that hill used to have raft races, which was just 2 slides. So I think if they were to do it anywhere in the park, on the top of my head, I can't really think of somewhere else that needs a new coaster and has an area for it. But I think having just 2 slides down an entire hillside to get rid of that and replace it with these 2 brand new roller coasters is a big upgrade. Yes,
massively. I'm 100% with you on that because it was, as you say, just kind of a nothing thing, wasn't it? And it was hardly ever open that I remember.
Hardly ever open, and I'm sure probably hardly anyone really went on it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like, well, yeah, it needs to go, and I think this is a great replacement, and I think it'll do well once it's finally open. The race is on now to see whether they manage to get it open before Hyperia, of course.
If they delay it, I mean, they've said what day was it? This is 6th of April, I think they said.
6th of April now, isn't it?
Yeah. If they get it open, then cool. If they somehow delay it more, then I'll be sad even more. But I have my fingers crossed. I think they'll do it. I don't see why they would delay it by just a week if they didn't think that it was going to open on that day, because if not, they would have said like, oh, it's going to be opening in the foreseeable future, or even like 2-3 weeks down the line. But hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, Sean makes a valid point here. Bring back Viking River Splash. One of my favorite, I suppose, one of my favorite water rides, actually. It had a bit of a kick to it. The layout was pretty interesting. But that's obviously never going to happen. It will be interesting to see what they replace it with.
True.
Because that's quite a large area it occupied, wasn't it? And slap bang in the middle of the park, essentially.
Yeah, it's like halfway up the hill. So anyone who sort of goes into the park is going to go into, whether it becomes an area or a new roller coaster or a new ride, you're just going to go there straight away. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have to walk past it to get anywhere else. So it's got to be something pretty sensational, I think. So it'll be interesting. It just, at the moment, it just looks sad. I think I made a point of that in one of my last videos, that I just said it just looks sad at the moment.
Yeah.
It's empty. It looks derelict. It looks now dirty, and I mean,
that's sadly the case for a lot of Merlin things, though, because you think of Forbidden Valley when Nemesis was closed, it felt so dead there. Like Forbidden Valley had never felt so quiet. Thorpe, Slammer's now gone. It's been gone for like 6 years. Slammer's gone, and so is Black Mirror. So that bit will feel a bit dead. I think obviously they need to remove stuff and sort of close things to make way for new things, but it'd be quite nice to see it sort of get removed instantly. But I know that's probably impossible considering budget and stuff. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's, as you say, they've obviously spent quite a lot of money on building Minifigure Speedway. I'm guessing they probably don't have a huge amount of budget left to remove a great big raft ride from right in the middle of the park. I can only imagine that's a massive actually removal job.
Probably.
And it's probably going to cost thousands and thousands. So absolutely not. I love stealth.
And get some more launch.
It's not going anywhere.
Might happen one day.
No, it can't. It's now the fastest accelerating coaster in the world.
True. That's very true.
It now has that record.
If the hydraulic dies, then I would happily take stealth, but swing launch it. I'd happily take that.
Okay.
But it'd be a bit crap because it would just sort of go forwards, then backwards, and then it'd have to reach 80 by the end of the 3 launches. So you'd probably be traveling like 20 miles an hour on one of the launches. So maybe not. But I did in Planet Coaster. I think I made a remake of stealth if it did that, and it actually was quite cool. But everyone said get rid of the swing launch on it, and that'll be better. So I was like, never mind them. But yeah,
fair enough. So obviously the next opening day we have to talk about is the one that we attended together, and
literally met out right outside the entrance out of pure
coincidence. we did. That's right. Yes. And where do we start? I mean, Dan, where do we actually start?
It was.
I nearly cried.
I think I had a better day than like crying worth. Well, I got out of Ready Player One and I almost cried. But it was that face. Oh, yeah. It was. I guess just an opening day for a park is so hit and miss. Some will be really good. Like Towers' opening day this year was actually like ride availability wise, from what we saw on the app and stuff, seemed pretty decent. Other than Nemesis, I think Nemesis went down like twice, and then obviously in the evening it went down. That was a whole commotion. But Thorpe, I think at the start of the day, most coasters didn't open for the first hour or so.
I think once we'd finished investigating the shops, and a decision had been made about where we were going to go, because that seemed to take a little while for a decision to be made.
Yeah.
And I think in the end, Marcus took charge, didn't he? And made us all do big easy bumpers, which actually was quite
That
enjoyable.
was
I'm
the
not
best
gonna
ride
lie.
of the day, I think.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
It
But
was so
I think
much fun.
we went to Stealth, didn't we, after that? And of course, the whole plaza was closed. And they weren't letting anybody anywhere near it because I got told off because I didn't realize that the staff standing in a line were there to stop us going into the plaza. So I just thought, oh, well, I want to go and film the new graphics and stuff. So I just walked happily through. And then, got told, can you step back, please? We're not allowing people into this area at the moment. And I was like, oh, whoops. Okay.
Naughty.
So that was obviously a bit disappointing. And as you say, other coasters weren't up and running either at that point. And it just seemed like a day of breakdowns, I think. And unfortunately, when it wasn't mechanically broken down, the weather turned so horrific that everything had to shut down for adverse weather.
I mean, it wanted to do it. Rained, it hailed, and then it got sunny again, and then it did the exact same thing all over again. It was very, very like 1 minute it was this weather, next minute went through all 4 seasons pretty much. But yeah, that was. I think the weather didn't help, and I think without the weather, it probably would have been a bit of a better day. I think I was in the queue for Colossus, and it broke down for about 20 minutes. That was one thing. But yeah, the start of the day was a bit mad, but it would be on an opening day, I guess. And then from there, it sort of looked up, and then the weather came down. So
yeah, I think I queued in the end for. I joined the queue for Swarm twice, only to have to leave twice. I joined the queue for Stealth twice, had to leave both times. Once actually got as far as the station before it broke down, which was the most disappointing. By the time I made the decision to go and have a look at Colossus, I think that was already down. And in the end, I rode 2 roller coasters that day: Flying Fish and Inferno.
well, at least you got on your favorite Nemesis.
I did get on my favorite Nemesis, it probably rescued the day for me because I was in grave danger of not actually getting on anything bigger than Flying Fish.
Maybe you did Ready Player One. That was huge.
We should talk about Ready Player One.
We should.
We should.
Good topic.
So, Sunset Cinema, I thought was lovely. Actually,
that whole area is really good.
That whole area, Big Easy Boulevard. If you haven't been yet and you haven't seen the videos yet, you have to go and visit it. I think they've done a fantastic job, actually, of making not just the Angry Birds part of it, but you know that bit, the back of the building that faces onto Dobble?
Yes.
That looked horrible for years. It just looked neglected, like they didn't know what to do with it. And they've incorporated it all now into Big Easy Boulevard, and it just looks so much better. It's lovely and bright and fresh, and they've got rid of those awful awnings that used to be over the Angry Birds 4D Experience queue line, which just made everything feel small.
Yeah.
So you're going to get wet if you're queuing now, but at least it looks big. So we went in. I think you were on the first public showing with me, weren't you?
Yes, we just about got in.
Yeah,
we ran from Saw, which Saw was a good ride, actually. It was really weird seeing Hyperia on it. But did anyone else get a really fast run on Saw? Well, it was quite fast, I think, but maybe normal speed. Can't remember. But yeah, we literally ran to Ready Player One. We had like 2 minutes before it was going to start, and I don't regret running for it, but at the same time, I don't really know what happened. The film was so weird.
It really was. And for me, the film alone as a 2D film, and I think it was you and I that had this discussion afterwards. We said, as a 2D film with a little bit more substance to it, would have actually been okay on its own.
Yeah. No, yeah, we did say that. I remember. Yeah.
And then they tried to incorporate these 4D effects that actually bore no correlation to the film whatsoever.
No.
I sat there for pretty much all the film wondering why on earth they were blowing air in my face. I really did.
The smoke that came in and just covered the screen.
It was
so funny.
I was just waiting for some random water effect.
Yeah,
At
there was
some
no
point.
water though.
There was no
Sad.
water. There was no water. And how violent were those seats?
Yeah, no, they were violent. To be fair,
I just thought,
woke me up.
that was some aggressive shaking.
Yeah,
And I say, obviously I'm a little bit vertically challenged, as some of you may know. So actually, when I sat on those seats, my feet don't touch the floor. So every time
you got properly swung back.
I was properly swung back and then thrown off. So I had to keep getting back into my seat. But yeah, the movie itself was all right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think it ended a bit quick. It kind of built up, didn't it, to like a potentially like big climax, and then disappointed.
I think also the sort of we can say spoilers, can't we?
Yeah, well, most people have probably seen the trailers for it by now. But
I mean, so it's about this guy in a virtual world who's trying to win a race that no one's ever won before, and some scientist has created it or something, or some game developer, I guess.
Yes.
And there's the first bit is actually really good. It's the build up when he puts on the VR headset, goes into the world, gets his car, sort of drives off in the race, and then right at the end of the race, he obviously crashes and stops, and then he doesn't win. So I was like, okay, cool. That's a cool little like character arc because he's going to go and finish the race. And then it's sort of like in the last 3 or 4 minutes, he just ends up winning it. And it's just so quick paced. And like you said, it would work as a 2D film with a little bit more context. But the 4D cinema, there was, when you watch a 3D film, there's like people who throw weapons or their cars come towards you, so it makes you jump, or like all those sorts of 3D effects. There was none of that. Plus, plus, like you said, the air and the smoke was just random as hell.
I think about halfway through, because it was only 15 minutes long, wasn't it? But about halfway through, because of those air jets,
felt like longer.
It did. I sat there going, "Oh, this is going to dry my contact lenses out. What am I going to do?" So that tells you probably how bad it was, really. The fact that I was more concerned about my contact lenses drying out than the content of the film, because by that point they'd been lost. And as I say, it was so quick the way it changed, because it built up to how he was going to win this race, and then all of a sudden he worked out how to win the race and won it. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Like it went from it sort of built up like a normal film does. It sort of built up and then it just went straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if it was a half an hour long film and they extended it out, gave it more context, gave it more of a character story, genuinely really good 2D film to put in the Sunset Cinema. Get rid of the 4D on it. Don't care. I don't need to be in my seat.
No, absolutely.
It is a good film if it had that little bit longer time to sort of show itself and not random smoke effects that block the screen.
Oh God, yes, definitely. I think what they've got though now is a great opportunity, if they decide to use it, for Fright Nights to show something horror related in there, because obviously Angry Birds was themed to Angry Birds, so they could only ever show Angry Birds, whereas this now is just a cinema. So it's got great potential, I think, for films that suit the time of year, and and I think horror films in there during Fright Nights would be great. I think that could work. That could work really well.
They've done that before. I think they did there was one thing called Screenplex Cinema. I remember that was something horror related. And in previous years, like years and years back, they did a whole like thing where they showed like Saw and Blair Witch and stuff. I think I might be wrong. So if they brought something like that back, that'd be really cool. I think Ready Player One is on like a 1-year contract, so it should only be for this year. But I don't know if that's true or not. I hope it's true. But yeah, like you said, Sunset Cinema from the outside, it looks so good, and then you go in and watch this really futuristic film that doesn't really fit the time frame, but oh well. And it just feels like it's not there. It's not a 4D film. Take the 4D off and it's actually a good film. But yeah.
Yeah, totally
That's what I'd
agree.
say.
Neither of us obviously went to Chessington for their opening weekend, which is unusual because I normally try and be at Chessington for their opening weekend. I was there for their pass holder day, and actually that was pretty good this year. Ride availability was all right, bordering on good, and there was the rides that they advertised as being closed were the only ones that were closed, so that's always a good start. They teased us by testing Dragon's Fury repeatedly throughout the day, but never actually opening it. But it was it was a decent day. And I think because of the M25 closures and the fact that the wrap for it had sold out within like 3 hours or something, actually it was a very quiet day because lots of people cancelled last minute. So that ended up being a really good day for that reason. It was much quieter than I anticipated. But I believe their opening weekend didn't go quite as smoothly. I know, obviously, Ollie from Coasters with Moi, as he said, he went on Sunday, and they were so disillusioned that they went back to Thorpe Park. And I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? That Chessington was so bad that even Thorpe Park, in the state that it was in Saturday, was an attractive prospect. So
yeah. I mean, the one thing that's notable about Chessington is I believe they've removed the virtual queue off of Mandrill.
Yes,
it's a very noticeable thing. I don't know how. I think it's working slightly. I don't know. Maybe.
I have a very. I'm quite split over this because I like the virtual queue because I don't like standing in queue lines. I do suffer with anxiety, and queue lines are triggers for me. Not enough to stop me queuing in them, but they make me uncomfortable, and I can get quite apprehensive about and everything else. So virtual queue was good from that perspective, and I think from a business model perspective, if you're not in a physical queue, you're out spending money potentially.
Yep, that's very true.
So drinks, ice creams, whatever you're buying, there's more opportunity to sell things. But what we were finding, and my wife highlighted this, was that when we were going to Chessington with the virtual queue, we'd book a time slot on Mandrill Mayhem. We'd go and do our ride. We'd book the next time slot and then go off to another area of the park. But what was happening was we were always coming back to Mandrill Mayhem. So throughout the day, it was like Mandrill Mayhem's here. We were going like this, and then like this, and then like this.
Literally how my visits to Chessington went as well.
And so actually, the virtual queue was dictating the day. So I'm intrigued to see, because it had no virtual queue on pass holder day, but as I say, it wasn't busy. I think it did build up about an hour queue time at one point. Seemed to cope quite well with it. They have obviously put in the full length air gates as well now.
Yeah, that's
so they can actually load properly in the station, and I think that will probably increase the throughput just a little bit. So I think that's good. So we'll see. We can only give it a fair chance, I suppose.
I think they're just trialing it just to see what works, what doesn't. So maybe they'll do a couple weeks of virtual queue not being there and think, actually, no, this doesn't work. Less people are riding it, or maybe even, oh, there's too many people riding it now, and then they do the virtual queue. But I said to a few of my friends, I was like, guarantee the main reason they've taken the virtual queue off is because so many public guests will go to the entrance thinking, oh yeah, let me just go on this now. They'll get there, be told, no, you need to pre-book it online. They then go and pre-book it, and it's like a 4 or 5 hour wait, and they say, oh no, there's no point. So to remove that sort of guest to staff commotion of, oh, I want to go on it, why do I have to book this sort of thing, I reckon that's half the reason they removed it. And also probably just to trial it and see how it does without it, because it'll be interesting to see. Might head down there at some point. And
well, I'm heading back on the 14th of April, I think it is. So it'll be interesting to go and see how it's operating, and get an idea from the staff as well, because obviously, you can quite often get a good gauge from the people who are actually standing at that entrance,
Yeah.
and you know, and seeing what's happening. This interesting thing here come up about something at Tiger Rock.
My friend was involved in an incident at Tiger Rock when a boat behind them hit into them. Oh,
and apparently it's now closed down due to the incident, which I hadn't heard about. So I'm intrigued. I'm going to have to have a look into that one, because that's quite serious, isn't it?
Wow.
It's a shame as well, because I like Tiger Rock. It's one of the few water rides I actually quite enjoy.
Better as Dragon Falls though.
Yes, actually, and I did do it as Dragon Falls back in my very, very anxious days. And I just remember white knuckle all the way down the drop, eyes closed, praying to every kind of religious deity you could imagine that I was going to survive. And obviously I did. Didn't make me feel any better, but I did it. But actually, I now quite enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's a pleasant enough, and it doesn't get
I love
you
a log
soaked.
flume.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of getting soaked.
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
not-
Tiger Rock's good though, because Tiger Rock never really got you like absolutely soaked.
Yeah.
It was always just, you know, light sprinkle.
Yes, absolutely. The little kiddie log flume raft,
River rafts, what a ride.
river rafts. That's a soaker. It's an
Oh, it is.
absolute soaker.
Got off that as if I'd been on tidal wave.
Yes. I was quite shocked the first time I ever did that, actually, at just how wet that actually does get you. It's very deceptive, actually, because it doesn't look like the drop's anywhere near big enough to create that splash.
Yeah,
but
but
boy,
it's
does
weird
it.
though, because there's log flumes like Tiger Rock. You get wetter on the first drop than the second, I find. And
Yes.
that first drop is tiny. It's like probably, well, it's not as small as river rafts, but I think it's just the smaller drops for log flumes just get people more wet, because there's even one at Portaventura in Spain. You go down this first little tiny drop, bear in mind there's like one that's quadruple the size, and it just gets you soaked. I think it is purely just log flumes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. It's and as Fan Ventures here mentioned, they are good in the summer, especially. I've only ever done tidal wave once, and I was kind of press ganged onto it by my wife in combination with Oscar's airtime, Emily, and actually we had a laugh, and they laughed a lot at my face and my reaction to it. I haven't been back on it since, but I will do it in the summer again, because you know it was fun. But it does it just felt to me like the water was coming down forever. It was never ending. But yeah, you brave tidal wave on opening day. Yeah, I'm sure you probably do regret it, Will.
Oh, Luke Pickles donated £2.
He did, yes.
Legend.
Bless him. Thank you, Luke. That's really appreciated. It's really kind of you. Yeah, it was a good day, and yeah, we all had a good laugh that day, didn't we? At me and my face, and I believe Chris, Em's husband, got this awesome photo of us as we come down the drop, and my face is a picture. It is a picture.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Tidal. I think I did tidal wave 15 times one day. I did tidal day once. Tried to do it all day. Really busy day, so hardly did it. Kind of wish I did it more, but yeah, 15 times in a day I've done. And
you have a bit of a history, Dan, of spending a day riding bad rides, don't you? Let's. I definitely needed to talk to you about this one, because it caused me to question yours, Marcus's, Dan's, and Sam's and Tom's sanity. The fact that you chose to do that awful coaster at Flamingo Land for the day.
It was so funny.
What possessed you?
So I shouldn't really take credit for it, because in general it's just a stupid idea, and I don't know why I'm taking credit for it, because who would have this idea? I basically said, so I did tidal day 3 years. Jesus, 3 years ago now. Bloody hell.
Wow.
So I did that in 2021. And I thought that was a good event. I think we raised about £1,500 for charity, or two charities.
Fantastic.
So we then sat there and went, what can we do better this time? So I thought, hang on, if 4 of us do a ride on Hero all day, then, it would be probably really painful. But at the same time, it's one of the worst coasters in the UK. And Flamingo Land know that. Like literally, we were getting set up, putting the cameras on the train because, again, Flamingo Land legends, they let us mount cameras to the train for the entire day.
Wow.
But we had our own ride car for the entirety of it. It was so funny. But literally, one of the managers came across and was just like, "Yeah, we know how painful this can be. So take breaks when you need to." And we were like, "Yeah, we know." But yeah, we 87 times in one day. I went to a festival about 5 days later, and it was a 4-day festival. And by the end of it, I couldn't feel my shoulders because of Hero.
I did it once, and there are very few rides, if any other actually, where I've come off and literally gone never again and really meant it.
I said that.
It was such a painful, scary experience because
It is
actually
terrifying.
the restraints don't really hold you in. I think on the inversions, I was only held in by goodwill and my ability to wrap my legs around the step ladder bit.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise I was coming out. I literally was coming out.
It was genuinely the first ride. We all sat there and went, "What on earth are we doing?" We were at Flamingo Land for 2 days, so we had a ride on the day before. And at first, I was like, "You know what? We could do that, I guess." And then that first ride on the second day, where we were actually doing it all day, I've never felt pain like it. So to do it once, we would do it once, and you know how the sort of train goes back down to level, you get off, walk off, and then it continues on, and then goes back like that. We would just get off, walk with the train, get back on, and go again. And it was
mad.
It was. I ate about 2 rich tea biscuits the entire day. That was my food. And I think we might have taken one break purely because of how painful it was getting. But yeah, the energy did switch though, because at first me and Tom were like really raring to go. We were like, yes, let's do this. And we hated the first few rides. And then towards the end, Marcus and Sam just dropped off like they were so done. But yeah, it was really good.
So how do you top that though? What have you got any plans for this year?
So considering I did that one in 21 and then Hero All Day was 23, probably not this year, but I might do like 1 or 2 just randomly, like not for charity. Because with Hero All Day, we managed to raise on that one about, I think it was 4,200.
I was going to say it was a really significant amount. Personally, I think you should have raised it for spinal charities, because I think you're all going to need spinal surgery at some point.
True. But I think like if I had to do one, I've always said I have one idea to do one, and it's to do with flat ride. But I don't know whether it would even top Hero.
I'm not sure anything could. I really don't think anything.
And the thing is, if I did it abroad at one that's even worse, then a lot of so my audience is mainly UK. A lot of people probably wouldn't understand like, oh, this one's even more painful. So I think Hero might be the end of it for now, but next year, maybe.
But watch this space, because you know, as I am famously quoted for saying, "Never say never." You know, there's always an opportunity for a change and development, isn't there? And you never know, they might build a worse coaster. I'm not sure they can.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure they can either.
Have Zamperla been commissioned to build any new roller coasters?
I'll build them a Volair I'll get them to build a Volair in my back garden so I can do a challenge.
That's true, actually. Yes, Adam from Rand's Adventures was actually planning on or was going to run the London Marathon for a spinal charity, which
nice.
So
Furious Backhoe all day. Oh my god, no.
I've obviously only done UK parks so far, but I'm going to Portaventura in September, and I like the look of Furious Backhoe,
Sit at the
However,
front.
I've been warned that yes, sitting at the front, and
Front left inside is the best place to sit on it.
that's what I'll go for then, because yeah, I you know, I'm not a huge fan of rough, but I think yeah, it's got to be done. It looks amazing. I love that intro at the station with the flooding effect. You know, I think that looks brilliant. So I am looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to doing a European park that isn't, you know, that's not UK or Merlin.
It's a massive eye opener when you go to European parks because it's obviously a very different world over there. Even their safety rules are different. Like genuinely, it's just you go to European parks. It's not the like leagues above. Well, some of them are leagues above our parks. It's not that. It's the fact that like they're ran differently. The coasters are so different. Like Coasters, Thrills, and Airtime Hills just said, Shambhala is a great coaster. It's an amazing ride. So I'm sure you'll like that.
It's one of the ones. There's two absolutely I'm really looking forward to, and Red Force, because that's going to be a massive challenge for me. I am petrified of heights. That's my biggest anxiety trigger, which is why it took me so long to get used to stealth, because you know, and obviously Hyperia is putting the fear of God up me at the moment. But I'm kind of thinking, right, well, I need to get Hyperia sorted because I'm going out to do Shambhala and Red Force, and I'm not coming back until I've done them. So that's it. It's not even a, you know, not a possible consideration that I won't do them. I absolutely have to do them. What's going to be worse is the fact I've got to do them alone, which I usually have a ride buddy, that somebody that I'm confident riding with for first rides. Unfortunately, that won't be possible because my usual ride buddy for first rides is my wife, but we'll have the children with us, obviously. So we're not going to be able to ride together unless we can find somewhere to ditch the kids. But I don't, you know. So
stick them on Junior Red Force and you go on Red Force.
Yeah, see who gets off first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited and terrified. So you know, but I'm also heading to Energylandia actually the same month. Yeah, so literally I'm doing a weekend at Energylandia, coming back to the UK, and then 8 days later we're flying out to Spain. So it's a bit of a manic September I've set myself up for, but it's you know, it's got to be done, and I'm just really excited to get that. Obviously I've, you know, with previous guests I've talked about their YouTube channels. Most people are obviously quite familiar with yours, but what I've always wanted to know is, like I always ask everybody, why did you start it?
Why did I start? Oh, that's a good question.
Because it's about 8 years you've been YouTubing.
I think so. I always, obviously, the time I started uploading, I guess, is different. But I always say that I started taking it somewhat seriously in late 2018.
Right.
So it's this year. It'll be 6 years that I actually sort of sat there and went, I want to do this. Like, actually upload videos. Not, of course, it is still a hobby, and it was back then. But I sort of sat there and was like, I want to make more videos, whereas before it was just like, oh, I'll post them whenever. Now it's at that point it was like, oh, I want to post them consistently. But it was purely I literally just started making videos with, I think it was my cousin, and we would just play games on our PS4 or PS3. So a completely different field to theme parks. And I'd play like Minecraft and all that stuff. And then eventually I started making theme park stuff on Minecraft. And then that's where the switch sort of happened, where eventually, as I got a bit older, I thought, I don't want to play this game anymore. But I also really like the sort of theme parky scene. A lot of people were vlogging, and I didn't have the confidence to do that because I was very much an introverted kid. So I just decided to do some sit down videos in my room, just talking into my microphone and just messing around and just seeing what happened. And I think I made one about Love Island coming to Thorpe Park in 2018. That feels like ages ago. But that was a whole event, and I made one taking the mick out of it. And I think just from there, I thought Like I guess it was a gap in the theme park UK YouTuber market because everyone was very serious. So I just sort of wanted to be a bit stupid. And I genuinely can't go a single video without making a joke. Like I tried to one time and I still did. But I think, yeah, just genuinely just making theme park content and having a passion for theme parks and always wanting to be a YouTuber as a kid, I guess. That's why I started.
Yeah, your head and shoulder videos, they call them, isn't it? When they're sitting in your bedroom talking ones.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I think you've got a real talent there with those.
Thank you.
I don't know what it is exactly, but I find them very engaging, and I enjoy watching them. And
I appreciate that.
You know, it's that, and of course your Planet Coaster videos, which are also a thing. So obviously gaming was the start of it then, and then you, because that was something I was going to ask you about, was which came first, the gaming or the theme parks?
So technically the gaming, but then it went to theme parks and then it became theme park gaming as well. So it's all interlinked.
Yeah, well, I can totally agree with you on that one, because obviously for me it went, well, I'm not even sure, why did I start? I started my YouTube channel, that's right, because I was starting to conquer my anxiety, and somebody said to me, you should tell your story. And I said, okay, but you know, how, what? And they said, oh, do a YouTube channel, make a video, and it just sort of went from there. And now, of course, I'm starting to play Planet Coaster. So yeah, and because during the close season, of course, when the opportunities for riding coasters are very limited, we need something to do. And so making my own theme park just seemed amazing. And I've always liked those kind of games, those kind of, you know, build your own. I used to play a lot of Transport Tycoon. Those of you that are a little bit older might remember Farmville on Facebook back in the day. Always enjoyed those kind of games, and yeah, and everyone seemed to be talking about Planet Coaster, and I kind of didn't really know what it was, and then started to look into it. It was like, oh, actually, and now it's so addictive, isn't it? And
we've had so many hours on it. Yeah,
there have been videos that have gone unedited because I've come in, because I normally edit very early in the morning. I'll quite often sit down at the computer about 4:30 in the morning, because that's pretty much the only time I get peace and quiet from everybody. And you know, with every intention of editing, and then I'll be like, oh, actually, I was going to do that in Planet Coaster, wasn't I? Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll just pop in for 10 minutes. It's never 10 minutes ever.
It's always like 6 hours.
Oh my, yeah. And it's insane, because you don't even realize it's like you're sucked into this Bermuda Triangle, isn't it, of time, that and when it spits you back out, as you say, it's 6 hours later.
I'm going to quickly get a stat up of how many days worth I have played of this game. Hang on.
I'm intrigued.
Go on, put some guesses in. It's bad.
Any guesses days. In the live chat? In days. How much time?
Or hours
spent playing Planet Coaster?
I mean, I think. Hang on, I saw a chat message earlier. Hang on, wait. Yeah, Coasters, Thrills, and Airtime Hills. Thank you for the compliment about the Nemesis Hyperion creations. I appreciate that. But I was about to mention them. Like, it genuinely, I think the Hyperion one actually wasn't that bad. I think it took maybe 5 days, something like that in total. But I remember the Nemesis one being over 100 hours, and I was already I was just halfway through it. So, yay!
Wow. That is insane.
Hours. Too long. Yeah, true. Hang on, I'll say it. So it was the fact people are saying 20 days, and it's oh god. So I have 3,292 hours on it, which is approximately 137 days. It's not a proud stat.
And yet, in between that, you also managed to keep banging out more Head and Shoulder videos of all the updates, you know, that and everything that goes on, and I just I always say, you know, I would love to be able to pump videos out the way you do, because you know they don't look like they've been just pumped out. Because if I made videos as often as you did, they would look like I'd made them in a day, because my editing skills are limited, shall we say, but getting better. But yours still have a quality about them, and you spend 120 days making, you know, plus or
Too many days.
130 odd days making Planet Coaster coasters. I mean, how do you find the time to fit all this in, Dan? And go to theme parks, of course.
Yeah, true. Genuinely, so I always say to people that, like, I started off, so a normal video that I make now, I remember back in about 2020, like COVID times, about a 10-minute long video, Head and Shoulder video of talking about maybe a review of a coaster or something. That would take me a solid like few days to edit up together. And it would, I think I uploaded weekly at that point. Like I genuinely couldn't upload more than that. And then as time kept going on, I think I switched to shorter videos that were obviously easier to edit because they're shorter. And pumped a few of them out. And then as sort of you just get more experience in it, I guess, and you just sort of go from there. And now, well, I mean, that Nemesis video that went up today, I think I started making that and recording it at about 1:30 p.m. today, and it went up at 7. Wow. So it's just sort of like, obviously, I'm not saying that like, oh, look at me, go, look at me, cool, I'm so cool. It's more just like, I guess, just the more you do it, the better you get at it efficiency wise, if that makes sense.
Do you know, actually, yes, that makes perfect sense, because what I found is that now that I've got a bit more used to the editing suite that I use, that's made me quicker, because now I'm not having to search for effects. I know exactly where they are, or I know exactly where this is and where that is. And so, yeah, I think it is, isn't it? It's practice that makes you quicker.
Makes perfect.
Absolutely. I think sometimes my my age does go against me a little bit, because you know, I remember computers essentially being invented. You know, so it's So for me now to be sitting at a computer like this, doing this, is just, you know, I could never have imagined it. What I love actually about something that YouTube has done for me certainly is actually taught me so many things that I never thought I'd ever learn about, which, I mean, editing videos. I never thought I'd be a video editor ever in my life. I never thought I'd be a live streamer. You know, this is if you'd have said to me 2 years ago, even, you know, oh, you'll have a live stream podcast in 2022, I would have said, no, there's no way you'll get me going live on YouTube. So, you know, Max is asking what editing software you use, Dan. Or is it a big secret?
It's not a big secret at all. I actually don't recommend my one, because it's so like, it just sometimes it just decides not to work. But I use sort of I think it's more of a trio. So the best one that I know a lot of people use, and I use it, is Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro. That's a good one. Used to use that for a lot of my shorts as well, because I've started doing them recently. But yeah, that's always a good one. One I used to use and still use quite frequently is called VideoPad. It's on the computer, PC. It's okay, just does the job, I guess. But one I've recently been recommending to a lot of people is, I obviously don't use a camera. I use my phone. So this thing just literally, I'm getting Marcus promo in there. Whoops.
Yeah.
But I literally use my iPhone, and that's my camera for the whole thing. So like Fan Ventures just said, I use an app called CapCut, and it's genuinely really good for a phone editor, and it's free. So on most opening days and sort of new ride openings, I will use CapCut on my phone and edit together as I go along, and that's why I get quite a few messages of being like, how the hell have you knocked out a video at like 2 p.m. and the coaster's just opened? Like, and I'm just like, using CapCut, because it's such a good editing software. It's there. Whack your clips in. I do a bit of music and a bit of like zooming in and out, because that's just my thing, I guess. But genuinely editing on it is so easy. My girlfriend Emily, she does her own YouTube channel, and she used to use, I think, something on her iPad, and it would take ages. And now she uses CapCut, and it's literally like so quick.
I use CapCut as well, but I use it on the PC. I must admit, it's the best editing suite I've ever come across. Obviously,
for free as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and even if you go for the pro version, I think it's only like $5 a month. But the effects, and it's always updating, always adding more and more and more to its suite. So yeah, I totally agree. CapCut is the way forward. And as you say, you can edit it on your phone quite easily. So if you are in, as you rightly say, in a queue line for something and you want to get that up quickly, it's great for that. For me, it's a bit more user friendly on the PC, but I think that's just because I've got fat fingers, and trying to edit on a phone sometimes is a bit tricky.
It is annoying. To be fair, my fingers are massive as well. So trying to edit on my phone is like, it's just things get in the way, and sometimes it can be frustrating. But
when you're somebody like me who's really bad for millennial pauses, for those of you that don't know what a millennial pause is, it's when you start filming, it's that 30 seconds where you say nothing just to make sure the camera's recording, and then you start. And then obviously when I get back to the PC, I have to edit all those out. Otherwise, there'd be hours of just the camera looking at me, not saying anything. Yeah. Oh, and this is. So it's I find that easier on the PC, because it gives you that just sort of accuracy, isn't it? I suppose is the word.
Yeah, 100%.
To cut things up a little bit easier. But it is
when I vlog and stuff, sometimes when I do edit them on CapCut, they can be a little bit more like, I guess if I edit a clip of like a joke I've said or something, it won't be as a refined cut, if that makes sense. So if I say something stupid, this is getting technical now. If I say a joke or something stupid and I want to cut it like right at the end of that joke, CapCut edits will probably be a little bit later, but on the PC you can get it like to the millisecond.
Yes.
So it depends, I guess. CapCut can have quality, but I mean, just for the phone edit alone and also on the computer, it's an incredible app for free as well. Like, I couldn't recommend it more. And for shorts, if you're making any shorts and stuff, it's literally perfect, because it has its own caption AI generated thing. So if you want, exactly. If you want to stick those captions on that you see in like TikToks and YouTube shorts, it does it automatically. I on Premiere Pro, I was going and doing them individually and typing them all out, and then someone told me about that. I was like, I've wasted half of my life.
What I quite enjoy sometimes for a bit of a laugh is generating those AI captions for a vlog, and seeing what it comes up with. Through. And some of the apparently I often speak complete gobbledygook. That's quite interesting. And it's fun. But as you say, and it generates them automatically, which is great. The other thing I find quite good about CapCut is the ability to crop. So if you filmed something in portrait and you want to use it in a vlog, you can crop it down to landscape. And it doesn't lose the quality. I mean, obviously you lose some of the picture, but the quality remains quite well, and it does it all automatically for you. You just go crop 16:9 or crop 9:16, whichever one you're converting it to, and it just does it. It's just so easy to use. So as Dan says, we should. Do you know what? We should be getting money for this, shouldn't we, Dan?
Yeah. Where's my link to get money for it?
I'll drop an email to CapCut and say, right, myself and Digital Dan have been just completely pushing your software. We now want money for this.
I mean, if it helps someone in this stream, that's the payment, isn't it? Like, it would be amazing to see, like, if someone starts using it in this chat and then they go on to really like the software and go on to use it loads in their videos and stuff. So you're giving away secrets.
They're not secrets, and as you just said, you know, like you, if I've helped somebody else, actually, I really like that. That is a reward in itself. You know, and I quite often try and help people as much as my limited knowledge can be, because people helped me when I was starting out. So I want to give back.
That's what I feel like as well.
Yeah, it's great that you know, that there were people there that, as I said, that helped me. You know, and so yeah, I want to be that person that can try and help other people. And so telling people what editing software I use, if that helps somebody, then great. Got a question here, actually. Can you give any tips for people starting out with theme park videos?
Do you want to start?
I suppose don't overcomplicate it is one of the things I would say. I made the mistake in the early days of trying to create the perfect vlog, which was comment, coaster, comment, ride, giving out facts, knowing information, and I got myself into such a stress about every single vlog. And in the end, what I've actually found now is I don't know much about coasters. I ride them.
Oh, me neither.
I love them. So I stopped trying to pretend now that I know about them, because it's just, you know, so keep it simple, and be you, because that's the best person you can be. I think that's probably the best advice I can give. I don't know if you've got something a bit better than that, Dan.
Whenever I get asked this question, I always say, when it comes to, let's say you want to do a video about, I don't know, I guess Nemesis is open, isn't it? Nemesis Reborn, your thoughts on it, the review of it, like what you think of it, or an area overview sort of thing. Obviously, a lot of people have done that already. But what you want to do is you want to try and stand out while still being yourself. So make your content a little bit, make the video and the topic sort of done in a different way, if that makes sense. So for me, it's always, there's an overview of Nemesis's area already. How about I put a comedic value on it and just joke around and have fun with it? That'll make it more interesting. Not to say that the original one wasn't interesting. It's obviously just putting a little twist on it. It's just, just be yourself, like you said, and just do what you do and have fun with it. That's what I'd say. Don't let it. There's a lot of YouTubers, not necessarily in the theme park space, but you hear of a lot of YouTubers that have fun with it at the start, and then it turns into a job, and then a chore, and then they start hating it, and it goes downhill. Keep it as a hobby.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, because I know, I think I've fallen into that trap a couple of times where it's just become a bit. I stopped vlogging for a little while last year because it was all just getting a little bit too much, and I needed a bit of a break. And so I did that. And yeah, it's very easy to fall into that trap, especially if you're trying to be something that isn't natural as well, which I think my early vlogs certainly were not naturally me. So now I've stopped trying to be anything else other than me. And I just try and have a bit of a laugh now, and try not to film too much, actually, because quite often I'm with my family, and they want to spend time with me too. So the last thing they want is me constantly with a camera in my face, ignoring them. So that's all. That actually helped me as well, having that going, oh, actually, if I film less, then I've got less to edit, and actually I think the videos have come out better for me. I think my videos are, for me personally, are better now than they were. So, and I enjoy making them now again.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
You know, and it's, I think, obviously live streaming is something that for me that I really enjoy. This setup actually is, I say that I am better from people who've said it to me at doing this than I am actually at vlogging.
Oh, okay.
And I in some ways I think, oh, that's a shame actually, because I really like vlogging too, but I love doing this. And it's one of the reasons why I've come back, because I miss doing it. But yeah, it is just about, yeah, enjoy it.
I genuinely say, like, so if someone has said that, oh, you're better at live streaming, just ignore what they've said. Like, you are good at both. So I'd say just keep doing, because there's a lot of people that do the same thing over and over again, or not necessarily in a theme park space. I can't really think of anyone that does do that, but I'd say just be doing stuff different. Like, you see a lot of people that do vlogs and then more vlogs and then more vlogs. I like to do a vlog, then a head and shoulder video, and then Planet Coaster. Like, I that's why I have so many different things, because I've just decided I like all these things. Let me try them all, and somehow they all work. So I just decided to keep switching them around. Used to do a lot of live streams, but I've stopped doing them now. I don't know why. I just haven't done one in a while. But yeah, if there's no point in, you can set yourself goals, obviously, but I know every single YouTuber has the same period of time where they start thinking and overthinking the stats, and they sit there and go like, oh, I need more views, and they see like the 10 of 10s come up and they get really upset. It happens to everyone. I would, from my experience anyway, I'm not a professional. I would just say, yeah, just enjoy it. And if it is your job, which I'm very grateful, my YouTube is my job now. So obviously stats do play a part, but don't let it play on your mental health, because that can become a very dire situation.
And I think that was certainly for me. That's another trap I fell into, was overthinking stats. I like stats. I don't know, I find them quite comforting. Maybe it's an anxiety and mental health
interesting thing, to be fair.
Yeah, but then I started overthinking the stats, and getting really drawn into, you know, especially when it was coming close to that big monetization goal, you know. And I was like, right, I need 35 more hours. How do I get those 35 hours before YouTube takes off the 50 hours from last year? And it just became insane. I was literally obsessed with it, and I had to stop in the end and just go, right, if I get there, I get there. If I don't get there, I don't get there. I can't let it consume me. Coaster Thrills and Airtime Hills, I'm really touched by that, and I'm glad it's cheered you up. I'm sorry that you've had a bad day, but I'm glad that Dan and I can bring
glad to hear that.
A bit of happiness into your life. You know, that's completely made this stream totally worth doing. That fact that we've cheered you up is fantastic. And thank you for watching. You know, I always really appreciate anybody who sits here listening to me jabber on with people for hours.
Dan tries connects. Oh my god! It's on the ideas list. It is on the ideas list. I made posts out of Lego. So
there is actually an Instagram account, Mid-Train Mayhem. Owen, his name is, who actually does recreate coasters in Connects, and he's insanely good at it. I've seen some of the things I've seen him recreate in his home. They are great. I think they're online. They're on YouTube as well. I think he films them and puts them up.
I mean, yeah, the Connects maker that's in the chat, I've seen he's doing a Hyperion recreation now, and I try to keep up on it as much as I can, and it's actually crazy. So fair play.
Yeah,
I would love to try a Connects coaster one day, but I know it would frustrate me so much.
Oh, here we go, Owen. Here we go. This is the guy that also makes the Connects coasters.
Nice.
It's I think it's really impressive to have that imagination to be able to visualize something in another material. I think is very impressive, and I take my hat off to anybody that can do it. I couldn't, unless you've got an instruction book for it. I'm done.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'm done. But I think for these guys that do it, it's very impressive. So what are the plans for the channel for this year? Is there anything new that we can look forward to, Dan, or are we changing it up at all, or are we just?
I think every year there's always something that I like test out. I don't really obviously this close season I wanted to capitalize on all the like Planet Coaster stuff, and sort of make the recreations that I wanted to do. Considering all the parks are shut, might as well have the free time to do that. I'd say this year I've been wanting. Hang on, should I bring up my ideas list? I'm not going to read them out, but I'll show you how long my ideas list is currently. That's my ideas list currently.
Wow.
I have a lot of like challenge videos that I want to go down the route of at parks, because I obviously last year I'm only 19, so I only just passed my driving test last year. So I've only been driving for about 7 months or something. So now I have the ability to go to these parks more freely. So I really want to do some more like challengey vlogs, because I think it'd be really fun. I did one last year at Chessington doing a randomized wheel that decides my day. So I want to do that at Towers.
Yeah.
Want to do loads of stuff. So should be a good year, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, obviously we'll all be looking forward to that. Thinking obviously of the year, and all the new things that are coming this year, I have to ask, what is the one thing that you're most excited about?
See, this is where I might lose a few people, because I would have said Hyperia had I not booked a week ago, or not even a week ago now. Me and Emily, my girlfriend again, have booked to go to Europa Park for the opening of Voltron.
Oh wow.
And it just, every time I see that coaster come up on any social media page, I watch it all the way through, because that ride just looks mental. So I've got to say, not even for the opening day, just Voltron in general. Like,
yes,
I think that's what I'm most excited for.
It's a bucket list coaster for me as well. As far as the UK is concerned, yeah, absolutely Hyperia. Because
100%.
nothing's going to even come close to that this year. Drayton Manor's new coaster, I think, is very interesting, and I'm quite excited about that. But at the end of the day, it's Hyperia. So I think that's the key one. But yeah, there's lots of other coasters across the world actually. I quite like the reimagined Top Thrill 2.
That looks good.
I think the trains for that look pretty cool. Penguin Trek at SeaWorld, isn't it? I think.
Yes, I think
looks pretty cool as well. That's another B&M, if I remember correctly. But Voltron is just another level, isn't it? It's I'd
Mac have gone all out with Hyperia and that in the same year. Like, I'm so excited for it.
They must be completely like worn out after
probably they won't make another coaster for years.
No, they won't. That would be it now. It'll be catalog coasters for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Interesting question here: Mandrill or Swarm? Go on, Dan. I'll let you go first on this one.
I would say, I think that's actually a tricky one. I was thinking
it is, isn't it?
Easier. I think Mandrill Mayhem is really good, but I like the launches. I really like the spike. I like the fact you can ride it backwards, like you could on the Swarm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Swarm though, because I feel like the theme, as much as it's a thrill coaster, so it has that extra level for me anyway. I'd say the theming. World of Jumanji is really good, but the theming of the Swarm is like, it's got its own island. It's crashing through billboards and planes, and there's a fire truck that's crashed, helicopter. Like, I think it's just, I think it's got to be the Swarm for me. But the more innovative layout is Mandrill Mayhem.
Yes, agreed. I love Mandrill Mayhem. It's a lot of fun. And it was a lovely surprise actually, doing it for the first time, because it was more than I expected from a family coaster.
Yeah.
I think I think last year it was probably my most ridden road coaster in the end, because only because of things like Christmas, when we went for Christmas at Halloween. It was absolutely dead. we went and I think we went into Jumanji at about 4:30 in the afternoon. Bearing in mind it was open till 7 p.m. For their Christmas event, and we just lapped Manjul Mayhem, and
That's
we
what
weren't
we
even asked to get off.
Oh yeah, we just moved forward one seat,
Yeah.
forward the next seat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did every single row, and I did insides and outsides and left and right, and yeah, it was amazing, and you know, and it confirmed it for me as a one of my favorites because it's fun and it's innovative layout, as you say,
Yeah.
and you know, and it was as I say, a surprise. But for the same reasons, I think the Swarm probably just edges it for me. You know, as you say, it's so well themed, unlike most Merlin rides, and it just that, yeah. Although it's not, as you say, innovative as a layout, but the theming is just.
It is really good theming.
It is really good theming, but without feeling over themed. I think, you know, it's. I love it. I do love the Swarm. Thankfully, I managed to get on it on Sunday because no trip to Thorpe Park for me is complete without at least one lap on the Swarm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm with you. Swarm. Lewis, me and Dan both say Swarm.
Swarm for me.
Max said there, congratulations on 60,000. I think it's
Thank
61
you.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, 61. Hang on, I don't even. It might be 61.1. I don't know. My voice is going. Why is my voice going? Yeah, 61.1. Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you so much. Like, if you told me even like 2 years ago, oh, you'd have 61,000 subscribers or 60,000 subscribers in 2024, I'd be like, what? Yeah, it's mental. Very much appreciate all the support.
We appreciate the videos. You know,
well, thank you for watching them.
No, well, at the end of the day,
endless cycle of thank you.
It is, yeah. Let's keep it going. How much more can we thank you? Thank you for being alive, Dan.
Thank you to the Earth for existing.
Yeah, thanks to the Big Bang for creating everything. Or creation.
Thank you to the atoms.
Oh, how far can we keep this going? Somebody I saw a comment. Yes, that's what I was looking at. Yes,
29th of April. That is. No, March.
No, it's 29th of March, isn't it? But there's a pass holder day in April for it. So actually,
it's the same day minifigure Speedway was supposed to open, but it's not anymore. Oh,
yes, I heard some speculation that they'd moved minifigure Speedway's opening because it clashed, and I said no. If they were going to move anything for the clash, it would have been Cadbury's. They would have been bumped off without a question of a doubt.
It's definitely because minifigure Speedway is just not ready.
Yeah, definitely. Are you looking forward to it, Dan? The new Dark Rider?
You know what? I went to Cadbury World last year for the first time ever. Never been before, so it was like a new thing. I've always wanted to go since I was a kid. And I didn't know if I'd enjoy it, but I actually really did enjoy the experience of it. There was a lot of history involved, which obviously I don't really care about the history too much, but it was nice to sort of see them showcase it. Obviously, just the process of creating chocolate, you get to write chocolate, you get free chocolate samples, and then they had that Cadabra ride, which obviously is now closing, and they're getting this new one. And from the photos and the videos they've shown already, it looks amazing. Very excited.
It does. Obviously, since Trailers isn't going to be returning this year, I don't know if that's been 100% confirmed, but I've heard the same rumor.
Okay.
Did you do Breakout at Bozo's?
I did, and I had to walk around the whole maze from the dentist scene. I got pinned to the dentist seat, and they took my shoes and socks off. So I had to do the whole thing in just bare feet, and it was horrible.
That's brilliant.
But no, it was like the acting cast in there were crazy. Like, I'd say crazy as in like a good way, but also just crazy. Like they went all out. Amazing.
I must admit, I think that Breakout of Bozo's for me was better than Trailers.
Yeah, I genuinely agree with that.
I don't know why. Like, I would have expected the sort of watered down breakout of Bozos to not have been.
You'd expect the Fright Nights one to be better than one in the summer.
Yeah, but
Like
it wasn't. I certainly, for one, am not sad to see trailers go if it definitely is going.
good concept, but yeah, very inconsistent, I think.
Yes, and I always thought it was just a bit. It was just all over the place, and yeah, I didn't enjoy it particularly. Whereas Bozos was a lot of fun, actually. And yeah, I think a lot of people had some quite crazy experiences in Bozos, and it was definitely good.
And yes, Oscar's airtime, I did get my socks back.
I was just about to ask. Em also wants to draw the Cadbury bunny in chocolate.
Do it.
I think you should. I think you should get yourself up to Cadbury World and try and do it. Are any of you going to pick up the Hyperion Merlin pass card coming tomorrow?
Already got a Merlin pass card, so I can't pick that up, I'm afraid.
Yeah, me too. And I'm not planning on renewing just to get a Hyperion card, which
looks cool though.
It does look very cool, and I've got to say, because I've got the monthly pass, so I could technically cancel because I'm well over my 12 months. I've had it for 5 years now, and then take out a new pass, which would then allow me to have the Hyperion pass.
Yeah,
but then I'd be letting go of my premium pass monthly rate that I've held on.
You still got the premium one?
I've still got the original premium pass.
That's crazy.
That Merlin just seemed to have forgotten about. They just they literally just seem to have forgotten. Look, there we go. My
oh wow, even the vertical
even the vertical
well.
With the really bad photo. Look, I even had hair. That's how long ago it was. You got one of the flashy platinums, you see.
And then my photo.
Oh my god.
You should have seen my old one. I probably don't have a photo of it anymore, but my old is it in here? My old Merlin Post photos. It's incredible. Hang on. If I can't find it, then big shame. But I might. Oh no, it's not in here. But it was if you've ever seen, I do like thumbnails of me wearing like a construction builder's hat and stuff.
Yep.
It genuinely is one of those photos, and I used it for my Merlin Pass, and they said, yeah, it's fine.
They're a bit more relaxed about the photos than the passport agency, aren't they?
Just slightly.
Yeah. I think my photo was cropped out of something else. So yeah. And I part of me wants to get a new pass so I can get rid of that photo, because it just reminds me of days when I had hair, and that sometimes makes me sad. But yeah, it's insane that it's still going. Every year we get to close season and I go, right, this year they're going to tell all the monthly premium pass holders, they've got to go.
And they still haven't.
And they still haven't. And they I think they've just forgotten about us, because we're still only paying £12 a month.
That's a good rate for that.
And obviously we're now subject to the same restrictions as a gold pass, but actually they aren't massive restrictions. And for £12,
and also a gold pass is literally about 17 quid now a month.
Yeah,
so you're saving anyway.
Yeah, so I'm getting it for less money, and so yeah, it's insane. It's got to come to an end soon. It really has. They can't keep it going, and I do feel bad sometimes that I still have it at this price, because I know there's lots of other people who, when the annual passes changed over to the new system, they just got rid of the premium and standard. It was gone. Yeah. But yeah, is platinum worth it more than gold? Because I had the gold one, and not sure if platinum, if it's worth it.
Depends how much you go. Because platinum has, I think, so platinum you can go 364 days of the year, and I think gold is like 290 something. So it's only like it's probably more than that as well. I used to have a gold, but then Towers Fireworks, they charge like 25 quid if you have a gold pass now. So I'm probably going to be there like all weekend. So I just sort of sat there like, I might as well just get a platinum and just call it a day. That's the only reason I got a platinum. Towers fireworks.
And I think, yeah, like you say, if you're likely to go more than once to Towers fireworks, then having the platinum pass is definitely worth doing. I think the best advice on that one is have a look at the restriction dates for gold.
See what you're doing, and then
and see if they're going to affect you, because most of the restriction dates on a gold pass are either bank holidays. And my advice to anybody is avoid theme parks on a bank holiday.
True.
And then there's a week of Fright Nights, isn't there? I think, where you can't go. It's the final week, isn't it? I think, with the run up to like the end. Otherwise, you're hardly really restricted. For me, my premium / gold works really well.
Genuinely, I'm looking at the calendar for gold, and there's one weekend in August, 2 weekends in May, 1 weekend at the end of March and April, start of April.
Yeah.
A couple dates in October and November and December over Christmas and stuff. That's all that's blocked out.
Yeah.
But it used to be that you couldn't go for half of August. So 340 plus days 340 days a year you can go for with gold. So pretty much if you're a very, very regular visitor of Merlin parks, I'd get platinum. But if not, you might as well just get gold.
I'll have to ask Mike on Friday, Lauren, to show me his Hyperia card. That could be an interesting conversation. Heard at Thorpe Park. Mike, show me your Hyperia card. They do look great though, and I think they are a very well done. And Merlin have done a great job with that, and I'm sure it's going to sell more memberships or cards.
For sure.
I've no doubt whatsoever. If anybody has any more questions in the chat, obviously I have already taken up an hour and 40 minutes of Dan's time.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't doing anything this evening.
That's fine. That's fine. I think the record I went was 2.5 hours.
2.5. Wow.
Sometimes they just it just goes.
I need a toilet break at that rate.
I'm not going to lie. I have sat here through episodes of this before, crossing my legs, going, I need to wind this up soon, because actually, if I don't, I need a towel.
I literally do that on my live streams. Like, I have a be right back screen just poised. I'm like, I need this now, and then I just end the stream.
Oh, I never even thought about that. I've never thought about
the thing is about be right back screens is a lot of people click off at that rate because they're like, oh, he's ended the stream. But yeah, midnight it is then.
Yeah, I think maybe not.
Might need a little break in the middle if that's
we might do. Yeah. I must admit, I have been very tempted to do a stream all night.
I've been very tempted to do a 24-hour stream one day.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something we could collaborate on. Because StreamYard allows you to stream if you have certain plans on it, you can stream to 2 channels.
That's a good idea.
So that's a possibility, isn't it? Maybe we need to have a conversation about that, because as I said, I've always been up for doing a stream all night, and trying to get some of my American friends in on it, because obviously they're awake when we would normally not be, and I think that could be quite cool, because I think having other people to talk to in and out and drifting in and out of the stream would be quite cool.
Makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you just keep seeing a changeover, and people might keep coming back if we say it's going to be an hour.
I think I always had an idea of, if I did a 24-hour stream, I would at some point in it get people on to do a Planet Coaster build challenge, and we just build something.
Yeah,
we build a similar thing, and we put it to the chat and say which one's better.
Yeah, see, it's another idea for you, Dan.
Yeah, there you go. Done.
Get your phone out, start typing it out.
That's my wallet, but yeah, we'll do that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've always been tempted. So, you never know.
Yeah, Oscar would love that. That's true.
Be a long day if he stayed up for it, though, Oscar.
We'd have to make sure it wasn't a school night, wouldn't we?
Yeah, true. On a weekend.
Yeah. or serialize it for him. You'd have to obviously maybe break it down into chunks. I'm sure you wouldn't want him up all night with me and Dan. Oh, bless him. Oh, thank you, Oscar, you little legend.
Hey, nice one.
It's lovely to. Awesome to meet you outside the island shop on opening day. Is that me, or is that Dan, or is that both of us?
I have bad memory.
There were so many people this weekend that I met that I'd never met before, and I'm still now remembering who they were and trying to message them and say, you know, oh, it was great to meet you, and blah blah. And some of them I have no idea who they were, and they didn't tell me that, or they told me their name but not their Instagram name. So yeah, it was apparently it was me. So okay, yes, well, it was it was amazing meeting everybody, and I love meeting people. Anybody that knows that will tell you I would genuinely meet up with pretty much everybody and anybody, because I just love meeting people. I find people fascinating, which is the other reason why I do this, because if I can't meet them in person, I can talk to them. You know, and it's great to do it. So does it ever? Oh yeah, this is an interesting question, Dan, because I thought about this on Saturday when I saw the number of people that were stopping you for photographs. Apart from the jealousy that I felt that nobody was stopping me, I am joking. You know, thinking, well, I'm the better looking. No, I'm joking. But do you ever get overwhelmed by it?
I think because since COVID, so like lockdown, that's when I first started showing my face on my channel. So it's literally been less than 4 years since I started showing my face on my channel. And my channel, it didn't sort of blow up, obviously, but it started doing quite well throughout COVID, because obviously everyone was at home watching YouTube videos. So that sort of, I went from no one knowing what I looked like before COVID to after lockdown, people knowing what I look like. So it was a sudden change. There has been days where it has been quite overwhelming, but in all honesty, I just love meeting people, like seeing some people and then talking to them about like videos, or even just like how their day's been, of course, like just. And when there's like parents that come over and say, oh, you made my kid's day just by meeting them, it's like it genuinely does. Yeah, it's really nice. So it's the best part of my day. Like I said, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, because obviously I got off Nemesis Reborn. This is obviously, I'm not like saying, oh look, there's a queue forming, but got off Nemesis Reborn, and genuinely, like, this was my first ride on it, so I was like, wow, and I was like, oh my god, I've just experienced that for the first time in ages. So my head was all swirly, and there was a queue forming to take photos with me, and I was just there like, this is insane. I'm very grateful for it, but it can be a bit overwhelming. But that was quite funny, because my head was all over the place, because I just come off Nemesis, so people were coming up and I was just like, hello, are you enjoying your day at Thought Park? Wait, no, wrong park. But yeah, it is amazing. So.
Do you remember the first time you were recognized?
Yes, and it was before I'd shown my face, so it was really weird.
Ooh.
So I remember I used to go to parks with my dad quite a lot. My dad doesn't have a Merlin pass anymore, so that doesn't really, because obviously as well I have a car, so I drive to places, and I obviously, this is my job now, so I go to them a lot more. But I used to go a lot with my dad, and there was a guy in the queue for a ride at Southend Adventure Island, and we were talking about coasters, and he went, I recognize your voice. And I went, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel and it's called this. And he was like, oh yeah, I literally watch your channel. And then we did a couple rides together and stuff. I still see him on the regular as well. Absolute legend. But yeah, I think that was in like 2019 or something. And then obviously COVID, and then past that point now, it's really cool. I do really appreciate people coming over and saying hello and stuff. It makes my day as well. It's very, very cool. You can ask all of my friends. I literally said, obviously, no offense to my friends when I say meeting other people is the best part of my day when I'm with them. But just meeting new people in general is part of like it's my favorite part of most days. So
The live appears to have disappeared. No, it's still live on my screens. I don't know why that is. There's no restrictions.
shall I have a look?
Have a look, Dan, see if it's missing on yours.
Seems to be on mine.
Yeah. Sorry, Coasters, Thrills and Airtime Hills. Hopefully it can come back for you. It might be an internet connection. I don't know.
Refresh.
Refresh. Yeah, refresh. Yeah, it's saying it's still up. I agree with you about the whole getting recognized and people coming up to you and saying, you know, that they watch your videos. It obviously we can look at YouTube Studio and we can see, you know, number of views, but they're faceless figures. And although I like looking at them, there's nothing better than being on a park and somebody coming up to you and going, "You're Anxious Rider. I watch your videos." And I melt. Literally, I melt because I'm like, somehow, although all these views register on YouTube Studio, I don't imagine that people are actually watching my videos.
I get that.
Until they come to me and say, "I watch your videos." And it's such a magical moment. The funniest thing was the first time I was ever recognized was at a park I'd never been to before.
Oh, cool.
Which was really bizarre. I was at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and it was actually the lady works in what's the name of the shop underneath the Kiss Me Quick shop.
Yes,
that's it. And I went in there, and you know, you can feel somebody's looking at you.
Yeah. I get that.
And I was kind of like, okay. And then as I went to pay, she went, "You're Anxious Rider, aren't you?" And I went, "Yes." She went, "I know you. I follow you on Instagram and I watch your YouTube videos." And I was like, "Okay, please remind me who you are." And so it was lovely, but yeah, it was really nerve-wracking as well.
It is nerve-wracking
because it wasn't a park I'd ever been to before, so I totally didn't expect it. But yeah, it was really bizarre. But I had an experience on Sunday actually at Pass Holder Day. I was busy vlogging, and a young lad came up to me and he said, "Oh, are you a YouTuber?" Yes, Dan's cat beautifully there. Mine aren't.
My cat is called Nina, not Gina. Dylan's in the chat. Why he's
I've got two of my cats are here actually. Panda over the back, and Jet's hiding behind the cushion.
What name?
Luna, which is the cat that Lauren keeps referring to, which is a kitten that we got from Lauren, is in the bedroom with Karen. She is Karen's lap cat. There's no way she'd be coming in here while Karen's in there. So that's why, Lauren, I'm afraid you're not seeing Luna, because she's probably tucked up in bed with Karen at this point. Yeah, as I was saying at Chessington, and this young lad came up to me and he said, "Oh, are you a YouTuber?" And I was like, yeah. He went, "What's your channel?" And I went, "Oh, it's Anxious Rider 78. "Oh my God, I watch your videos." And I went, oh, wow. Oh, and he was like, "Can I get a photo with you?" "Yes, of course you can, mate. Absolutely."
Yeah, it's really
and
cool.
I stood chatting to him and his mum for about 20 minutes or so. And then he's like, "Oh, where are you going now then?" I was like, "Oh, we're going to go around and do Cobra." And he went, "Can I come with you?" And I went, yes, of course you can. I'm just a person, you know. And so yeah. And then after we did Cobra and I was talking to him, and then as he got off, as you said, that line, his mum turned round to me and said, "You've made his day."
Yeah.
And I nearly cried. I literally nearly cried, because I just thought, I'm just me. I'm nobody really in the greater scheme of things. I'm nobody. I just make videos and post them online.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, it was.
I'm glad you've said that though, because I've literally gotten to the end of some days where people have come up and said that sort of thing, and I've felt really emotional. Like it's beyond my mind how me making a video ends up with people like saying like, "Oh, you made my day" and stuff. Obviously I love that, but it just like you said, the numbers when you see them don't translate to real people until you see them in person.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like it is a really cool experience to meet loads of new people, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So if any of you have never met me or Dan before, and we are, and you're on park with us, please come and say hello. We absolutely love it. As do most of the YouTubers I know. Actually, I can't think of a single person who wouldn't happily stop and have a photo with or talk to anybody that watches their content, because as I said in my Chessington video, without those watchers, we're out of business. We wouldn't exist. We don't exist, so it's really something, and it's actually us that have the gratitude to them, for
What's the weirdest thing anyone has made you do, Dan? Dan jumps up and say hello. Basically, I think, was this the first time I met you guys? No, it was the second time I met Em and Oscar and their sort of family.
Yeah.
I think we were outside Saw, and I was like, "Oh, could you sort of be on the camera and jump up and say hello like that?" Which was hilarious. It was really funny. But that's not the weirdest thing people have made me do. Don't worry. I can't actually think of anything too weird that's happened.
Can't think or can't mention it, maybe.
Oh no, I don't think anything too bad has happened, to be fair. There was one time someone literally came up and said like, "Oh, you're Dan, aren't you?" And I went, "Yep." They just walked off. I was like, "Okay, bye." Yeah, there's a few weird I can't even speak. Weird incidents sometimes, but very rare. So.
Yes. Next park that we are going to, I don't think they mean together. We haven't made any plans, but
no, maybe in the future. Never know. Probably. Well, I would say Legoland, but that's now not.
It's a sore subject.
Yeah, I might go to. I have to be up in Manchester on Saturday night, so I might pop into Towers on Saturday, but might not. Who knows?
I'm going to be at Thorpe again Friday, because obviously following the disappointment of Legoland, I had a spare day, so I'm going to head over to Thorpe, check out Mardi Gras, which starts this weekend, and hoping that they've rectified some of the problems that we experienced last weekend, and I might actually get on a few rides. But if not, at least there's Mardi Gras food to enjoy. So and the shows. So I will otherwise entertain myself with that. Van Ventures are going to Poulton's Park Saturday. I love Poulton's Park.
It's a really nice park.
It's it doesn't have any massive thrill coasters, yet they do so well. The theming is brilliant. It's the way they maintain the park as well. I think it's just so clean and everything's so manicured, I think is the term I would use. It's a really nice
Very
park
well
to
kept.
visit. It is slightly on the expensive side. I'll be honest, but and sadly it's not a Merlin. Well, if it was a Merlin park, we wouldn't be sitting here saying it's very well kept.
No.
But yeah, it is a beautiful park. So have a great time there. You'll enjoy that. And so will the family, because it's very much a family friendly park as well. With some great theming and rides. What do we both think of Nemesis Reborn? Your first time seeing it Saturday.
Very cool. It's a very good ride. Love it.
I've already said I'm reserving judgment because I haven't been on it yet. I think the theming looks amazing. I was a little bit critical of the claw around the eyes because that's a bit jerky, but other than that, I think theming wise, it's absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to going to ride it, and then I will make a video giving my honest review of it.
You copy me? I'm joking.
Dan, I'm always copying you, mate. Have you not seen my videos?
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
I watch your videos and go, oh, that's a really good idea.
Let me just do that myself. No, I'm joking.
No, yeah, and I will give my opinion of it then. But until then, I'm not gonna, I can't. It would be unfair of me to say what I think of it because I can't think anything of it. I haven't done it.
True.
So that's that. Need a multi-pass for all the parks. Is that for
Polton's probably?
Yeah, because you have to pay for Peppa Pig and Polton's, don't you? Separately, I think. Or
Unless
there's
they're on about a multi-pass to go to every theme park in the UK on one price, one card.
Oh, maybe.
That'd
actually.
be cool. Because then that'd include Blackpool, that'd include Polton's. God knows how much that would be.
It would be ridiculously expensive, wouldn't it?
Probably.
It literally would.
What's my cat doing?
I don't know, but it's entertaining. I'm not keen on B&M inverts, but Nemesis I absolutely love. I think the terrain hugging elements really make it. Yeah. I've always said that for me, the way Nemesis is cut into the
terrain,
land, into the terrain, does make it special. There's no doubt about that. And for that, it ranks above Inferno. I just like Inferno's layout. And as I say, my sentimental connection to Inferno. So that's the only reason for that. Enjoy Portaventura, Oliver. Yeah. Oliver. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yes. Oliver's going theme park.
Enjoy.
Yeah. You'll love that. You will absolutely love that. I'm really excited to go there. So another question. What are you two most excited about for the 2024 season? Well, I think we talked about this one, didn't we?
Voltron and Hyperia, I reckon.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably we were pretty much in agreement about that. I mean, everything it is. So it was a pass for everything in the UK. God, I bet that
would be good. But yeah, bloody hell, can you imagine?
God, yeah, that must cost that would cost a fortune, wouldn't it? It really would. Reminds me of Maverick at Cedar Point. Love that coaster. Totally understand the sentimental value. Re-Inferno. Yeah, absolutely. I think, we form these sentimental bonds. Dan's probably got. Is there a particular coaster that you have a sentimental bond to, Dan?
I think before it started to look like a barren wasteland of a coaster, I used to really like Air at Alton Towers before it became Galactica. I used to love that ride when I was a kid. I'd probably say Air. I don't think there's another one that. Is there another one? I don't think so. I think it has to be that one. What about you? Well, Nemesis Inferno, obviously, but
yeah, definitely Inferno for me. As I've said, for the reasons obviously I gave earlier with the first dates and things. First thrill ride for me, it was Inferno.
I think mine genuinely was Nemesis.
How spooky!
Yeah, I rode the better one though.
Well, what? So yours was Inferno as well?
I'll leave. Bye.
My last question: thoughts on Universal Studios in Bedford? Ooh, yes. Bring it on.
Bring it on, please. I pray. Oh, it'd be so good. It'd be so good.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Every week.
Yeah, I'd give up my Merlin pass. I wouldn't need it anymore.
Yeah, true.
I've already planned the route. I can get there by train quite quickly.
I think I'm like a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So in future, if you want to meet me and Dan after Universal Studios opens,
we'll be there
in Bedford. That's where we'll be. You won't find us at any other parks. We'll just be camping there. It absolutely Merlin do need some serious competition. I think they've had the monopoly for way too long, and that's why they haven't competed. They've been able to sit back and go, well, we're the only real theme park owners anyway, so it doesn't matter. You'll take what we give you. And I think it's only now that they're starting to sort of look at that a bit more and go, actually, some of the smaller concern parks are catching up with them.
Yeah.
Polton's being a textbook example of that. And obviously the threat now of Universal coming in, I think is a big thing, and hopefully it does mean that they will up their game even more, because that's the dream, isn't it? That they all up their game, and because it's us that would win from that. Hey Dan, 60,000 subs. You're now double the
Thank you
size of
very
my
much.
channel. I remember when we both had 30,000.
Don't say that, man. Don't put yourself down. But
No,
thank you. I
absolutely.
appreciate that.
You know, well, I'm not even a quarter, not even a tenth of the size of Dan's channel. You know, and but just keep at it, and we all grow.
Very true. Very true.
Being told to ask where physical Dan is.
He's not here. I've genuinely had people come up to me and say like, "Oh, I thought you weren't real because you're called Digital Dan," and I'm like, "Nope, I'm not even here." AI. Oh, I hit my microphone.
Oh.
That's not good. Oh God, have I broken something?
Did you see the new rules about disclosure for AI now on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
So actually, if you weren't real, you'd have to disclose that you weren't real.
Well, you'll see that warning pop up on all my videos soon. Oh, amazing.
Do you think actually it'd be funny to do exactly what you've just said as an ongoing joke?
That would be quite funny.
I think it would be, wouldn't it? I've heard people refer to you as Analog Dan.
Yep, that's come up as well.
I've got a feeling that's either Sam or Marcus that's done that.
Probably.
I think it was Sam who said that. Thoughts on Rita? I try not to think about it.
Bad. Move on.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where we'll leave that. Dan's huge. I'm only a tenth. Just keep
what
going.
are you trying to say? Call him
I was going to say that's a bit personal, isn't it? It's like we're after 10 o'clock now. We can make these comments. It's fine. Being on Nemesis Reborn, surely it's the best in the UK. In my opinion, Icon isn't near the best coach in the UK. It would be number 1 Nemesis, 2 Smiler, 3 Swarm, surely. I don't agree with that grading. And funnily enough,
if anything, it would go Nemesis, Icon, Wickerman.
For me, Stealth is my number 1.
Fair enough. Not Nemesis Inferno. What's happened?
No, it's in my top 10, but it's like I said in the beginning. For me, it's a B&M invert. It's not, I don't think it deserves a very high spot. I think in my rankings, actually, Shockwave ranked higher than Inferno.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was definitely Stealth for me. I think, what did I have? I had, off the top of my head, I can't remember now, but the Smiler used to be in my top 3 until last year when it got rough.
Oh yeah, true.
Swarm, while it's a great coaster, I don't think it's good enough to be in the top 3 somehow. But yeah, these things are all personal, personal to everybody, aren't they? So we could sit here and argue when about it all night, and
true,
and not agree. And maybe that is the answer for our 24-hour live stream.
I don't know how I'll cope with toilet breaks during that 24-hour stream, because I'm struggling now.
Oh, bless you.
I'm joking. I remember watching you in 8K. Oh man. Well, thank you for staying tuned. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Max is a legend. I've met Max. He obviously has his own channel and works at Adventure Island down in Southend. And yeah, he's a good lad. I really do like him. Do you agree Smiler is slightly overrated? No, I think it's massively overrated. Is my opinion. It has 2 inversions too many. And Gerstlauers don't age very well. And Smiler is no exception to that rule, unfortunately. So yeah, I hope Smiler 123 isn't watching. Well, they'll get an education if they are. What do you find in Icon which you think is the best in the UK?
I just think it's fun. Like it flows nicely. It's got hair time. It's got a little bit of intensity. The launches aren't too punchy, but they're just enjoyable. I think it's like a Coasters, Thrills and Airtime. Hill said Icon is such a good coaster. I agree.
It is a good coaster, and Enzo, I love Enzo.
That's really good as well.
I think it's a little bit overpriced at £15 a ride, but
should be a tenner.
A tenner, a tenner. I think they would actually clean up with, but let's not get started on Blackpool and marketing and and all these kind of things. I did watch that video where you put the spinning seats on Hyperia.
Oh my god, yeah, that was crazy.
Mental.
Can you imagine?
Well, I don't think I want to. That was the thing. You made real a nightmare almost for me. It's just it was crazy, but it definitely works for Icon. I loved it. So here we go. Here's an interesting. Why do you say inverts don't deserve top spots? My top 3 is 1 Mako, 2
That's fair enough.
Again, it's personal. The 2 inverts that I've done, Inferno and Nemesis, are not the best coasters I've done. It could be that I'll go somewhere else and do another invert and go, actually, that's amazing. That's going into my top 5. And I think everybody's top 5s are quite fluid, aren't they? That's the other thing I find is that, I could go to Alton Towers one day and ride Wicker Man and go, yep, Wicker Man's in my top 5. And then I could go another day and it's not running quite so well, or the operations weren't great. So then it's top 10, and they move around, which is why I've never released to this date a top 10 video, because I can't do it.
I did a top 100 once.
Maybe that would be easier. Maybe I could do a top 100 once I've done 100, but not actually give them 1 to 100 numbers. Just go, these are in my top 100.
Yeah.
My
next one's top 200.
Wow. Yeah, I think I've got a little way to go. I've got a little way to go before I get to that. I'm hoping to have a special coaster for my 100th coaster. So
my 100th was Taron at Phantasialand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Almost bad though, because it was 99th was Junior Red Force, so it almost went bad.
Oh dear, yes. Yeah, that could have. Iconic and memorable coaster lost in the UK. The Bullet at Flamingo Land is one of them. I unfortunately haven't been around long enough to remember the Bullet, so
I don't even remember that one either.
No, Dan's too young, and I've not been a theme park enthusiast for long enough to remember. So, how many coaster credits have you both got, Dan?
Oh, I don't remember the exact number. Let me bring up my Google Docs. I have. Where is it? There it is. 218.
Wow.
Nemesis Reborn was my 218th.
I'm nowhere near you. I think 59 is my current count. But as I explained to people, I've only been doing coasters for 3 years.
Well, if you go to Port Ventura and Energylandia in the summer month, you're getting like 30 already. So
yeah, and I'm going to Fantasy Island.
Yep, that's another 4.
And Skegness Pleasure Beach, which is just down the other road the other way, with another 4 credits apparently. I think I've worked it out that I can end the year over 100 with all the planned visits. So that's my goal for this year, is get to that 100. I think I know which one is unlikely to be able to make my 100th, but I won't announce it, because if I announce it, it'll all go horribly wrong. It'll be broken down on the day or something, and it isn't going to happen. So I'm not going to announce it, but keep your eyes open, because there will obviously be a special video like I did for my 50th cred, which was Shockwave actually, which I thought was a nice one to have as a 50th.
Loved experiencing trailers with you last. Oh, same goes. What an experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely didn't slag off trailers earlier, but no, it's good.
Let's maybe not revisit that. Dan's starting to do the Wii dance at the moment.
I'm genuinely like,
yeah, no, that's fine. We will almost 3 times older than me. Who me? I okay, you made me feel old, and I'm only 36. Wow, coasters, thrills, and airtime hills. I'm 46 this year. Age is just a number. M from Oscar's Airtime actually put up a post earlier on Instagram, and actually it was great. It was something about being young wasn't related to an age or something like that. And I thought, actually, that's great. That makes me feel so much better about childishly running around theme parks at 46 years old. So, you know, you are not old at 36.
Why not?
Absolutely. You know, youth wasted on the young in a lot of cases. Dan not included in that because he's a roller coaster enthusiast. But yes, so guys, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight so that Dan and I can go for toilet breaks. I've not had any dinner yet. But
dinner.
No. Em says she can't even remember what she posted.
That's good, isn't it?
Love it, Em.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. So thank you everybody for watching, and of course, Dan, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you for having me. It's been good.
No, I've loved it, and meeting you on Saturday was absolutely fantastic, and hopefully we can spend
I'm sure we will.
more time together at some point in the future.
Of course, man.
Yeah, it'd be great to hang out at another park. I'm sure we'll both be at Hyperia opening.
We'll probably bump into each other again, even if we didn't plan something, no.
I'm sure we will. We have similar circles, I think, of friends. So yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Good luck with everything. Dan's latest video
having me.
Is obviously his Nemesis Reborn honest review. Go and check that out if you haven't already. It's probably on about 30,000 views already. But
not that much, I wish.
Yeah, so go and check that out. And if you haven't subscribed to myself and to Dan and you've enjoyed tonight, then please do that. And please like the video if you've enjoyed it. And as I say, thank you so much, Dan. We will see you soon.
Yes.
Take care for now.
Thank you for watching.
See you later.
Everyone.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. The absolutely amazing digital Dan. And I've really enjoyed that, and I've really enjoyed being back tonight. I'm not going to lie and say to you that I didn't have reservations about bringing Nervous Chat back. I was just sort of a bit nervous, literally nervous about it. But I'm glad that I did. I will be doing ad hoc episodes. It won't be coming back weekly because I can't commit to that again. That was a grueling schedule. But there will be ad hoc episodes coming out. So please keep your eyes open for those, and also keep your eyes open for vlogs, etc. coming up soon. There will be a lot. So yes, as I say, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, I've got to find my closing credits. I was better organized than this before. I found them. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you all soon. Take care for now.